Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. You could be doing anything with your time and you chose to come and spend a little bit of it with me, and I appreciate it. Another beautiful day here in Georgia. Hope everything is well with you and your families. Okay, this video I'm going to be covering the 2019 Street Glide, Harley Davidson Street Glide CVO that I purchased recently, and the little backstory on the motorcycle and my whole idea and thought process when it comes to Harley Davidson. So here it is, and you know, truth be told, I told myself I would never buy a Harley. I rode them for years with the NYPD Highway Patrol, and as far as owning one, I said I would never do it because they're overpriced, they're not reliable. That was always my thought process on them. That's still my thought process on them a little bit. So you might be asking, well, so then why would you buy the most expensive Harley Davidson that they have, which is the CVO line? And I'll tell you that story in a moment. But first, let me move the motorcycle at least to the middle of the driveway so I can get the other side of it. See, this is what happens when you're a rookie YouTuber. That should have been done already. If this is your first time to this channel and you ride a motorcycle and you're saying to yourself, oh wow, how did he make that U-turn that easy? You need to check out my other video on the basic fundamentals of slow riding. Okay, so here's the backstory. I had an Indian Chieftain, a 2018 Indian Chieftain Limited. I bought that motorcycle in 2018, in 2017, when I first moved down here to Georgia. And because I wanted something different, something that wasn't a Harley Davidson, because again, overpriced, unreliable, blah, blah, blah. And I put a stage 3 kit on that. I changed the headlights. I bought a new seat. But nothing crazy, nothing else really. And I enjoyed it. You know, it was after the stage 3 update, it was fast, it was loud enough for me, and it was fun. So one day I go into a Harley dealer with one of my buddies to rent a motorcycle, and just for shits and giggles, I'm looking at the Street Glides there, and if I even thought about buying a Street Glide, I'm looking at the fact that just a regular Street Glide is $30,000. $30,000 for a motorcycle that didn't have one LED bulb on it, not one. The headlights, the blinkers, the tail lights, everything, incandescent bulbs. In 2020, I'm talking about a 2020 model, and that's just absurd to me, you know. And those are the little things that drive me crazy, you know. And so then I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, how much money would I have to spend to get that Street Glide to be at least a little bit comparable to the Indian I was riding? And it was ridiculous. I would have to do a bunch of stuff. So to make a long story longer, the salesman says to me, I have a CVO. I have a CVO in the back. It belongs to a customer, but I want you to take a look at it because we're getting one in, a 2019 CVO. Now, I didn't know what the hell a CVO was, so him telling me it was a CVO meant nothing to me. But I said, okay, I'll go take a look at it. And when I looked at it, as soon as I looked at it, I said, wow. I was already seeing that a lot of the stuff that I was already seeing a lot of the stuff that I wouldn't have to do. I wouldn't have to add, because it had pretty much everything I wanted it to have. So I said, all right, it's a 117. I said, but I need to ride it. So when you get the motorcycle in, let me know. The guy calls me in about 2 days, says the motorcycle's in. When can you come in and ride it? I said, okay, I'll ride it. I'll be in there tomorrow morning. I came, I rode it, and wasn't really impressed. And I've since learned that if you build a motorcycle up to a 116, it's going to be faster and it's going to sound better than a stock 116. So because the 111 that I had with my Indian was built up to a 116, this 117 was not impressing me at all. So to make a long story even longer, I liked the way the motorcycle looked, and I said, you know what? Let me ride it. I rode it, and then I realized it had Apple CarPlay. That did it for me. To be able to use Waze on the motorcycle is a game changer for me. So I said, all right, I'll take it. But what I did do is I'm having a stage 3 added to this motorcycle, which I believe is going to bring it to like a 122 or something like that. Still waiting for the parts to come in. But overall, right now, I am happy with the motorcycle. I'm happy with the way it looks. I've gotten used to it. I've just gotten used to this heel-to-toe shifter because I've never used one before. And the things that I have added to it are pretty much lights at this point. And I'm going to go over that in a separate video, just about the lights. Okay? But I also ordered a new seat. That's in the process of being made, because this seat, it came with a rear seat too. I already took that off just so it has this look. But this seat is extremely uncomfortable, for me at least. Pushes me too far forward. I feel like I'm right on the tank. And you see where the handlebars are? See how close they are? I make turns this tight in slow riding, and I have to open up my legs, otherwise these hit my legs. So I need to be back a little further. Of course, I added some highway pegs. Those are Kurakins. And you know, right now that's pretty much it. I ordered a Tour-Pak. I got a separate video on that. I'll link it in the description. But the beauty of it is, it was not much I had to do. It has the boom system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it has 6 speakers. I did say that I plan on upgrading the stereo system at some point. I was gonna do it right away, but it's really not necessary. If I turn the bass down so it's not too much bass, it sounds good. I can hear it, and that's the only thing that's, you know, really important to me. But overall, oh, the other beauty is I wasn't in the market for a motorcycle. So the fact that this happened to be there, the fact that it had 1,900 miles on it when I bought it, which I appreciated that too, because $45,000 for a brand new one, and somebody else put 1,900 miles on it, and now, you know, that brings it down to about 38, 39 before I put, you know, the stage 3 and everything on it. I appreciate that, you know, because as far as I'm concerned, it's still a brand new motorcycle. It's in immaculate condition, no scratches on it, nothing's wrong with it. The only scratches on it now are on the underside of those floorboards, and that's courtesy of yours truly. And that's from, you know, slow technique riding. I'm going to link a description of that video too as well in the description. So one of the things that was always an issue with me with these Harley Davidsons was finding neutral. So again, I compare it to my Indian. Finding neutral, very easy. Finding Harley, it's finicky. You know, you have to play with it a little bit. You'll go past it again. But it's easier now than it used to be, but it's still not as easy as the Indian. The other thing, which for some reason, Harley, it seems to me like they're trying to embrace it, like it's part of the culture of a Harley Davidson. So just embrace it. All this goddamn vibrating. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Because when I was on my Indian, nice and steady. As I'm idling, nice and steady. This thing, handlebars are shaking like this, and that's what, you know, people say, oh, if you have a Harley, you have to use Loctite on the screws because over time stuff will loosen. That's nothing to be proud of. I mean, do something about that already. It has to be something that can be done. If other motorcycle manufacturers can do it, why can't the one that's, you know, charging all of this money find out what that is and do it? It's not cool. And I don't know if they think it's cool, but it's not cool. Yeah, so that's something that has to be taken care of. So for those that don't know what CVO is, because I didn't know, CVO stands for Custom Vehicle Operations. And basically what that means is everything on this motorcycle is customized. It's got a specialized, it's a special paint job. The floorboards are the Laguna line. Laguna. I'm going to ask actually pronounced my lovely wife for Christmas to get the floorboards, which really are for her. But the gas tank, you'll notice it's smooth, it's flush, the cover to the gas tank, I should say. And you have to actually push it in and twist it, and then it pops up, and then you can unscrew it. So that's classy. And to put it down is the same thing, push down and twist to the right. So I like that. That's definitely classy. The other difference is the fork lock. So in other Harley Davidsons, you have to turn this to turn the motorcycle into auxiliary before you can start it. Whereas on this motorcycle, this is just for the fork lock. That's all this does. It doesn't do anything else. It has nothing to do with starting the motorcycle. All of that is right here. You just press that button, you know, and it's ready to go. And then I have a lock and an unlock for the saddlebags. Now that was something that my Indian had, and at the time when I bought my Indian, I didn't see it as an option on Harley, and now it is. And you know, that's how these things go. It's just like iPhones and Android phones. iPhone is going to come out with a feature, and then that's going to be the big thing. And then the next year, Android will have that feature. Or if they don't, they'll have another feature that Apple doesn't have. So one's always going to have something more than the other. And you just have to kind of pick your poison on what makes you more comfortable. I will say that when I look at this motorcycle, it makes me feel better than when I looked at the Indian motorcycle. Any motorcycle was nice, but it's a whole nother class. All right, another feature is the red. I like that because it makes it pop. Even the Harley Davidson emblem that's on there, it doesn't say Harley Davidson, it's just a symbol. It says Harley Davidson right there. And it doesn't have to keep saying it. So I like the gray and the bluish color and the red stitching, and the little red stripe on the back. You know, it looks nice. It all ties in very well together. Right, and here's another funny thing. So I installed this cell phone holder, and so iPhones have this new feature. I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max, and with the newest update to the operating system, you have the option of setting your phone to do certain things just by double tapping or triple tapping the back of the phone with your fingers. And so I set mine for if I tap the back of my phone twice, it'll do a screenshot, instead of having to press the power button and the up volume button at the same time, because sometimes I would mess up and turn the phone off. That was a pain in the butt. So, good feature. But when you get on a shaky ass Harley Davidson, guess what it's doing while I'm riding? Taking pictures. So I said to myself, I'll switch it to the 3 taps. That's not going to really matter because it's constantly vibrating. So so anyway, you know, what are you going to do? Shake and bake. That's what I'm going to call that motorcycle. That's shake and bake. Here's one thing that really irritates me about this motorcycle, and really all of Harley Davidson motorcycles in comparison to Indian, because that's what I rode prior to this motorcycle as far as owning it. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on. I'll give you $100 if you could tell me what gear this motorcycle's in. You don't know? Neither do I. You know why we don't know? Because it doesn't tell you. And the only way it's going to tell you is when you actually start the motorcycle and put it in gear. It's already in gear, actually. The only thing it will tell you right now is if it's in neutral with a green N. That's it. It won't tell you the gear. And it won't tell you the gear if you have the clutch pulled in. So usually you want to know what gear you're in before you start moving. It's not going to help you, because once you start the motorcycle, you got the clutch squeezed in. You're not going to let the clutch out unless you're starting to move. And at that point, if you're in second or third gear, it's too damn late. And the way I ride, sometimes if you're just going to go straight, it's not too much of a big deal. But if you have the handlebars turned all the way to the left, and you want to just start by making that turn, and that motorcycle's in third gear, guess what's going to happen? All right, so I just think that's crazy. Now, in the Indian would not only show you in the gauges what gear the motorcycle was in at all times, clutch squeezed or not, but it would also show you in the infotainment screen. So you had 2 locations showing you what gear the motorcycle's in. And on this motorcycle, not only is there 1, but it's tiny too. It shows up right here. It's tiny. So when you're riding down the road, it's sunny, and you want to see what gear it's in. I mean, don't they understand how important knowing what gear you're in is to a rider? Like, you want to be able to see it, actually. At least I do. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where it seems like no matter how good a product is, there's always sometimes it's one thing that's just going to piss you off because it doesn't have it. And for me, it's this feature. Or lack thereof, I should say. In closing, I'm going to end this video with saying right now, as it stands, I am satisfied with the motorcycle. I'm more used to it. I'm accustomed to it now. I rode a Road King with the NYPD. So, you know, this motorcycle is heavier than the Road King. This is 877 pounds. Even with all of the crap they throw in it, with the police motorcycle, it still wasn't this heavy, but it's a unique color. And is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. This is my favorite color when it comes to a vehicle. Silver, metallically looking color. With the blue accent, you know, I just got the Tour-Pak. That's also a separate video. But yeah, and again, like I said, I will post a future video going over the lights that I put on it. You know, very nice lights. It looks a lot better. But I will say it did come with LED taillights, LED signals, and a LED headlight, which it came with the Daymaker, which I replaced. All right. Okay. Again, thanks for visiting the channel. If you liked the video, hit that like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Be well. Wear your masks. Take care.